Welcome back, GRD 122 W1 to part 3 of our P7 web comps, and we're going to be working on the mobile portion. Although one thing I wanted to fix on here was making my logo stand out. Now again, your logo may be different, and it probably is because it's not my logo, but I'm going to go on here. Now I just want to point out something. This is grouped, so if I go inside the group here and I select both R's, and I want to put a drop shadow just on the R's, and I can do that. I could go to Effect, and if I edit the drop shadow, and I'll put 4 for X, and it's a little light now. If I start to darken it, it's actually darkening each letter, which is a problem because I just have 2 overlapping letters. They're still fonts. Now one thing I could do, let's see, I'll put it at like 65%. That looks pretty good. To get rid of that overlapping, I can actually go up here. It's actually letting me do it. Union selection, unite them. And it puts them together as a temporary union, and when I zoom back, that actually looks okay. It stands out a little bit, the orange stands back, so before I move on to the mobile, I'll do that. Okay, and I could, you know, I can make this fill lighter, darker, whatever I want, or I could go back and, you know, change the image that's there. I don't even have to have any image there. I could just have a dark color or dark gray. But anyway, let's move on to the mobile part. Now, I'm going to go to page 2, and on here I have my iPhone, and we'll start bringing things back from page 1. Now, I'm going to copy this, so I'm going to do Command-C or Control-C, go to page 2, and I'll paste it, and I'll leave this over here for now, and then I'll go back to page 1, and we're not going to use our navigation because we're going to use like a hamburger menu, but page 1, make sure you copy not everything but just the image. So go down here, make sure you're just on the image, not the whole frame. And I'm going to copy that image, Control-C or Command-C, and then go back to page 2, and I'll paste it. Now there's the image. Now I could crop this, but if you just put it right underneath there, and make sure you indent it too, it'll kind of crop it there. Now you can crop it more, or you could leave it like this. Now I'm going to make it smaller, hold Shift, and bring it up here. And you could even crop it yourself if you go to Image and then go on to Crop. You can kind of bring this in and crop it. You could crop it yourself, but the frame is already cropping it, so it's not a big deal. And that looks okay. And that looks okay right now. And we're going to kind of do the same thing. We're going to put our logo up there, and we'll go back to page 1, grab this thing, that little block up there, copy it, go back to page 2, paste it, and I'll bring it up here, and I'll make it smaller, so I'll shorten it, kind of right where the grass kind of ends there, and I'll shorten it this way, and I'll put my new logo in here. Bring that up here. Now that's not on top of it. Let's see, we're header rectangle. I'll bring that down, and logo center should be above that, so be aware of what's happening in here. I'll zoom in, and I'll use my scale tool, make this bigger, center that nicely, and I can even double click in here. Now I'm going to go back to my move tool and give it a color. Now it might use the other orange. There's the other orange I'm using, so I'm going to borrow that and see how that looks. And that looks better, and I don't think I have to worry about any shadows on there. That looks okay. And let's see, I'll center it just using that if you select one image. So that looks okay, and we could do a little bar on here where we might just put a hamburger menu. So let's just go back to page 1, and let's copy that, just the bar, and go back to page 2, and bring this up here. Maybe shorten a little bit. It's 60. Maybe make it 40. And then go all the way over here and shorten it, just bringing it into the side. And I'll just kind of nudge it up a little bit. And if I wanted to put a hamburger menu on here, let's draw a hamburger menu quick. Not very hard to do. I'll just draw 3 rectangles. Rectangle very thin, I'll zoom way in, and then round it off just a little. Kind of almost like a hot dog. That's probably about as far as I can go. And then I'm going to copy one, and copy one. Now if they're not perfect, far apart, that's okay. Let's see how that looks. They're a little tight. They're a little big right now, so I'm going to select that, select that, select that, select all three, holding shift. And then over on the right side here, where all these align icons are, just do distribute vertical spacing. And then you can group it, Command G or Control G, call it hamburger. And I could use the scale tool, make it just a little bit smaller. And if my nav area isn't big enough, that should be okay. Actually, that looks good. We could even bring it in here, about where the logo is. I don't want it too tight to the edge. But that looks okay, I think. You have a little hamburger menu that's going to open up, and if you want that bigger, you can make it bigger. Now, all we have to do now is bring in our headline and our call to action button. Now I'll just bring this, copy it, come back here, paste it, and I'll go back to my move tool. Now, if you just grab this and move it in with your move tool, it's going to naturally center it. Now you have to make everything smaller, so let me go down, just use the point size, make it 64, see how that looks, and then zoom in again. And working with nature to make a world of difference. And 64, how's 48? That's okay, maybe something in between. Maybe 60. And I'll put, well, I'll just shorten it so that it breaks of. That looks okay. I'm gonna just put that in there. That looks fine. Maybe 56, maybe even a little smaller. And I'll still shorten it so of breaks down, unless of looks better there. I think that looks okay. And you can center it this way too, the whole thing. Or you should be able to, it's not doing it. Not sure why it's not centering that block, but that looks okay. And then we'll bring in our call to action, this thing. Now I didn't group it yet, I don't think, did I? No, I didn't group it. Let's just move them over. You can group them, Command G, and then you'll have to just rename it. BTN request, and I'll copy it. I'll go back to my mobile page, paste it. I'll just use my scale tool, make it smaller, and just do something like that. We won't worry about anything down below here right now, but that looks okay. I don't have a phone thing for calling. There's other stuff I could throw in here, but that's nice to start. And let's check it out. That's how it looks on a phone. And why is that not showing up? It's probably not on the frame. So let's go back, make sure, okay, my button request is not on the frame and it should be indented. There it is. And working with nature is not on the frame. Even though you see it here, it needs to be in this frame when you preview it. There it is. It doesn't look bad. That's page 2. And let's look at page 1. That doesn't look bad either. So you don't have to share your prototype. I could always look at the little, although you could just copy the link of your prototype, but I'd rather see everything. But you can do both if you want. I'd rather just you share your whole Figma file that you're working on so I could look at everything. But that's all you have to do. So I'll show you again how to make an image for your portfolio from those files, from these things that you could kind of put together, because you could even make a screenshot of this and put it in there and show it off. But that looks pretty nice. You can make a screenshot of this and put it on something black and you get a nice little portfolio piece. But anyway, all I want to see right now is just you working on this. So make sure you share this, make sure you copy link, after your logos and things like this. So this will be the last thing you'll do for this semester. So again, you'll just be working on your web part, and your mobile part. And again, just something simple. You don't have to go crazy with it. You don't have to, go nuts working on these buttons or anything like that. I tried to keep them as simple as possible. Just group things and just make a nice little layout that improves on this thing. I think it improves on it. I don't know about you. I think it looks better. It looks a little more modern, a little more clean, both the logo and the design that I did. And now I did another design before that, and I think that looked okay. I actually like this one a little bit better. I like the dark at the top instead of just green. I like the navigation in the middle instead of the way I had it last time on the overview video. But anyway, I wanted to do something different, and because you're going to be doing something different as well. And that's it. So email me if you have any questions, and have fun with that.